The BLUETTI AC200L is not a new power station. We've actually had this thing here at the lab for a while, sitting around on a shelf doing nothing. We only recently took this thing off the shelf and dusted it off when we were filming with the Elite 300 because BLUETTI said that the Elite 300 is an evolution basically of this old 200L. And so since we had the dust knocked off this thing, we decided to put it through our standard testing and see if an older BLUETTI power station might still be a good buy. And well, it happened. The 200L reminded us why we used to hate BLUETTI. So welcome back to the lab where our opinions cannot be bought. We actually used to be blacklisted by BLUETTI back in the day because we made some admittedly aggressive videos towards their brand, expressing our frustrations with some of the early power stations that they made, like the AC203 or 500? AC200 and 500. But if you look at our videos lately, we've kind of been pumping BLUETTI's tires and recommending that you guys buy a lot of their products. So what happened there? How did our opinions go from we hate BLUETTI to we love BLUETTI? And does our experience with this 200L change the way we feel about them at all? So first, let me tell you guys what happened. The AC200L flew through our standard testing. We took it off the shelf and Dylan started running it through all the regular tests, just seeing if it still worked as it should. We did a charge speed test, a surge test, an idle test, a load test, and everything was going honestly pretty good. It's the same testing we do with hundreds of power stations every year. And the day before we planned to actually film our video with this power station, Dylan was getting some B-roll. He plugged it into a wall outlet to charge it. Basically what you're seeing right now started happening. There's no real rhyme or reason why this happened. It was off and he plugged it in. It was at 60%, which you guys can see if you turn it on real quick, it defaults to working. Now it's at 60%. Everything's good, and then it'll just throw a fit. All the lights start flashing. The DC, AC lights start going off, or at least this one used to go off. There's codes on the screen and all kinds of stuff was going wrong. And so we tried to fix it, couldn't really figure out what it was, called BLUETTI, told them what the codes were on the app, which is basically BMS communication failure and system initialization failure. And they basically told us there is no fix. There's nothing you can do. The unit self-combusted, which is the exact same experience we had with the AC 500 and 300 that we featured in older videos. And they basically said there is no fix. You just have to get a new unit. There is no workaround for a problem like this. And that moment just kind of put us right back in like a wow state from before. BLUETTI really is the only brand that we've had where their power stations will just implode like this and there is nothing you can do about it. So not only did this whole thing happening make me feel honestly pretty good because we really dragged them through the mud before and they really hated us, so much so that we saw them at a show, CES or something, and their whole booth ran away from us. They didn't want to talk to us at all. And so it did make me feel good that like we weren't being over dramatic. It is a pretty serious issue and it did happen to older power stations just like this one. There was also a lot of comments on those older videos saying that whatever was happening was our fault. It wasn't. More importantly, this served as a reminder of how far BLUETTI has come in the last few years and why we actually really like them today and why we have been recommending them. I think the biggest thing we do here at the lab is like there's so many brands in this space and it's such an early space that like you have to have room for forgiveness. You have to let people try to change and get better. BLUETTI's kind of shown us that they can do that because over the last couple of years, none of their power stations, first of all, self-combust like this and just stop working. This thing has literally no runtime on it. We turned it on, did all the testing, and it broke hours into actually being used. We never actually used it at all. And none of their new units do that. And we've had some that we've been using a lot here and they're all good. But it also showed us how far they've come just with little things and how they're willing to kind of change their branding to be better for the general public. And a couple of things that they've done that we really like is the side of this unit, as well as actually the front, has proprietary plugs, which are super annoying. So if you want to plug in a solar connector, it's this threaded adapter, which makes it watertight. Whoop-dee, it's great. But if you're trying to charge it, you have to get this specific cable from BLUETTI that threads in. It's a proprietary plug that only fits BLUETTI power stations. And this is a $50 cable on BLUETTI's website. The general cables that plug into 99% of the other power stations, they're $9 on Amazon. It's much better that all their new units are using generic plugs. It makes everybody that's watching this lives way easier when you get something like this and you can just use it, Just buy replacement plugs. You can plug it into things you already own, like your solar panel adapters and all that kind of stuff. We know people who have had older units like this and they lose the plug and they cannot buy another one because BLUETTI discontinued that unit and that plug was specific to that unit. And then so good job to BLUETTI for ditching this. This was always one of the most annoying things that they ever did. They also have customer support now.
Services and monitor service quality. This call will be recorded.
Which is better than not. Before, when we had problems, units broke, whatever you call, and you really didn't get a whole lot of help. There wasn't a whole lot of much. This time when we called, at least they offered us a replacement unit. They were like, hey, yeah, shouldn't happen. There's nothing you can do about it. Basically, the system inside, like the software, has malfunctioned and it's screwed. And they're like, there's nothing you can do. You just have to send it back and we will send you a replacement. Nobody really wants that. Like, you don't want to go buy a new car from the dealership and then have to return it and get a new one because the one you bought is faulted. It doesn't make you feel very good about the replacement. Like, what's really different about it? At least there's someone there on the phone that can understand your problem and try to help you through it, which is a step up from how it used to be. And the last point with all their new products is they're really not trying to be anything that they're not. And this is something that a lot of brands suffer from, is they're trying to make the best power station to ever hit the market. And I think that's why we kind of have liked some of their more recent ones. The Apex 300, the Elite series, most of them, especially like the Elite 400. Those units are like very niche. We have full videos on them on the channel if you want to go check them out. They're very niche units for a very specific type of person. And they're not trying to just be the best power station ever. They're trying to just like fill a hole where there's a need for a unit, and that's that. And for what I would call a like name brand, they've been around forever, everybody knows who they are. Their pricing's pretty good. Like, they compete with Pecron in pricing a lot of times, which makes no sense, but it's pretty good. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to say here is BLUETTI's a real gray zone right now. If you have a BLUETTI that you want, and we have a review video on the channel saying it's good, then we would recommend it. You can use our discount code, save some money, buy the power station. If we don't have a video on it, or we have a video on it that says not some good things, I would recommend you don't buy it. What it seems to be is they're changing in the right direction, but I would still be scared of all of their older products. You don't want to spend your hard-earned money on something like this just to have it consistently blowing up in the middle of when you're trying to use it. So that's pretty much all we got. Let us know your experience with BLUETTI in the comments down below if you have any. We will leave links to all the products we do recommend from BLUETTI down below, as well as any discount codes we can get to save you guys some money. We have a quiz. If you don't know what power station you need, it takes 30 seconds, gives you an instant recommendation based on units that we actually recommend for you. Otherwise, that's all we got for you guys. We will catch you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.